Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Atomic Salt Live Show. This is the show where we're going to discuss everything in the tabletop hobby world. As always, I am Wild Chevy, and I am joined by my buddy Casey. Casey, how are you this week?
I'm tired, man. I am just so tired. You want to know why I'm tired? Because I've been going like this the whole time over GenCan't
Yeah.
news.
Yep. Well, folks, welcome to the GenCan't special edition
Oh,
of the show, where
oh,
we moan about not being in Indianapolis.
so sad, so sad.
Yeah, so, let's recap a little bit what we've done the past few weeks before we get into what we would have done at Gen Con.
Fair enough. You want to start?
Sure. Hobby-wise, been getting back into the painting groove. I finished up Robin here from Night Models.
Yeah, let's see that bad boy. The inside of his cloak turned out really nice.
Yeah, and I found a good red mix that I like. Yeah, let's see if I focus.
What did you do for the red?
I used Calvary Brown as a base. Then I used flat red. This is all Vallejo colors. And then I mixed a little turquoise for shading. And finished it off with flesh tone in the red for highlight, and then some white for extreme highlights.
You know, I've been seeing more and more people using Calvary Brown as a red base.
I like it's I'll show you the next thing I've been working on. So there I have my battle foam yan yan that I've been working on. That's Calvary Brown, so it's a very reddish color.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes for a nice base coat.
Nice.
And I've been trying to work on my non-metal metallic gold. So all his armor plates are going to be this. I've been trying to work it a cold gold color. And yeah, other than that, I mean, I put together the new guy, the Bashi Bazook.
Mm.
And I will say, for Infinity, these new miniatures go together real nice. And I love how they've fixed the wings. It's a one piece, and it slots into the backpack. And there's a nub on the body that aligns the backpack and the wings just right.
Oh, nice.
So, like, unlike this, where you just kind of have to guesstimate where the wings go and just hope and pray. So just slap together, a little glue, done.
Nice, yeah, because I've had plenty of guys that I've had to put together with like little fiddly wings like that, and you just go, I think this fits like this.
Yeah. And so that's been my hobbying for the last little bit. How about yourself?
So I've been working on a couple of my remotes. So I've actually been playing with the ghost tints on these, because kind of this center body here will stay black, and so I took my airbrush and I did it all kind of like in grays, and did like gray lines over the body and such. Um, and did kind of like little points of light around there, and then I just hit it all with a purple ghost tint. It kind of turned into like a purplish kind of color, and it's cool. You know, it's kept it black except for those areas versus like trying to put a purple paint over it. So, I'm generally happy with it. It's not amazing looking, but it looks okay. I've got the whole set of ghost tints, and I've just been looking for excuses to kind of use them.
Man, I mean, it's great for tabletop, right? You just unless you're going to go for um, like an online painting competition.
Yeah, and that's kind of what these guys are going to be. These guys will just be tabletop. I just kind of got them because I feel like that's a hole that's missing in my army. Not really so much because I really loved them. I mean, I think as far as like the remotes go, there's some of the cooler looking ones. But yeah, I'm mostly just filling gaps.
Well, now we just need to get you playing again before Las Vegas.
No kidding. No kidding. I think in a couple weeks we've got our Guild Ball kind of end of the league tournament, and after that I should be good to start playing Infinity again.
Nice.
And I'll have to relearn all the rules.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's always that when you come back from uh, a vacation on miniatures.
I saw there's a discussion going on online about whether or not Infinity has grown too complicated. And there's some people who say yes, like this gives the game depth, and it wouldn't be interesting without all of it. And there's other people who say like, unless this is your full-time mainline game, you can't know everything there is to know. Just because of all the weird rule interactions, there's a lot of niche equipment. This is transitioned away from a pick up and play game to a you really have to study this and really understand what's going on.
Well, I think like a good chunk of the rules, you just kind of you run into them like on a rare occasion, and it's usually because your opponent's using something you've never seen before. But for the most part, I mean, I've rarely had to like stop the game and say, okay, what I don't know what this is anymore.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then also, I guess one more thing that I've been working on is Infinity RPG stuff. So, looks like I'm going to be the GM for this campaign that we're going to go through. I've got kind of the opening narrative set. Like, I have no idea how long it'll take to go through. I think it'll be fairly simple. Like, I look at them like, this will be easy.
Oh.
But I don't know. And so I've got that all defined. I basically just need to like do some lookups, so I have like all the different character stats on hand and kind of copy and paste and put stuff in there.
Well, how much stuff do they have out already for the backers?
They have a ton of stuff. Rule-wise, my guess is that they probably have, of the rules, about 90% is out there. Really, at this point, it's a lot of fluff and a lot of, editing and kind of putting stuff together. So, but for the backers, we have the core rules for it. We have all the adversaries. We have equipment. We have character creation. And some rather large chunks of the fluff as well. So, and it's all kind of in various stages. Some of it is just raw documents of, hey guys, here's a table, here you go. Versus other stuff is like, oh, it's all laid out, and here's the artwork, and
the artwork's been pretty.
It's been very pretty. Well, it goes back and forth. Some of it is amazing. Other stuff is like, okay. But in general, it's all good. There hasn't been any bad stuff. Like the circular art, I think looks really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully in another week or so we'll kind of be ready to move on that.
Awesome.
And we'll try it out.
I look forward to being killed by you. Or vice versa.
My goal is not to kill you guys right off the bat. But the cool thing is because it is Infinity, you have the option of coming back as like an L host.
So dead but not forgotten.
Yep. So that'll be something if you do die, you'll have a choice.
Now, speaking of Infinity and painting, War Games Consortium. They're doing a August Infinity painting competition through their Draconic Awards. Have you seen anything about that?
Yeah, I've looked at it. I assumed I was going to have all this time to paint, but now it's looking like I don't.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I've got until August 31st, and it's like, and then it'll be August 29th. You're like, oh, scramble, scramble, scramble.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it was. I'm like, oh, I'm going to knock these little remotes out of the way, and I was like, hey, I've still got that bootleg Peninsula. That's all I did was prime it. Yeah, this is going to be great. But I'm like, no, I don't think I'm going to pick up the brush again for at least a week. And by that point, it's just too late.
And I'm running into the problem like, what do I want to paint? I mean, I've got so many different things that, and since it's a online competition, you only get one entry, and it's, I mean, you could be facing some pretty big names out there, so it's going to be hard to tell. You don't want to put in a bad posed miniature. It's always you want something good and dynamic. So maybe the Bashi Bazook here, maybe the Azrael. Who knows?
I think the Bashi Bazook would be a good one.
Getting colorful.
I just hit it with a wash, and then some filters.
Yeah.
There you go.
The Prisma filter.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people blame with that one lately.
All right. Well, I mean, let's get on to the topic of GenCan't. As we mentioned earlier, GenCon Indianapolis happened this weekend, and like most of us could not attend, even though we really wanted to. Anything stand out for you, Casey, over the weekend?
Yeah, as usual, Corvus Belli has done their big Gen Con presentation where they kind of talked about the company, talked about the different projects they have going on, showed the stuff that they've done in the past, and kind of what they're looking at in the future. Fortunately, Infinity fans are diehards, and so people have live streamed it, they've recorded it, they've taken pictures from 2 or 3 angles, and we got a lot of stuff we can show and talk about.
Yep.
Even though we weren't there.
And it's funny because when I first went out, the first couple times I went out there, it was me in a half-empty room recording this guy with little bit rough English. Now it's like turned into this big, huge ordeal and all that. I'm like, guys, like I was there when you guys are small. I want to be there now when you guys are big too. It sucks. But yes, as Casey mentioned, we do have photos to show. So let me pull them up. All right, do you want to let's just walk through the photos?
Yeah, might as well just start from one end. We'll work our way through the other.
All right.
And folks, if there's anything you'd like us to talk about a little bit more, let us know. We're just gonna, because this is only an hour-long show, we're just gonna pick up the things that we find interesting.
Yep. So it looks like they recapped earlier the start of the year, so they had photos of the releases. So they had January's release, February's release.
Memories. The beautiful, beautiful Sujion came out.
There's a good old Hector. March. Got to see all the 012 or
the RPG minis.
RPG HVTs. And in April, we got to see the Marguerite Bigard.
April was a good month, top to bottom. Marguerite Bigard, the new Eugene starter, this new Sogarat, the Reverend Healer. Yeah, just all good mottos that year.
And then they talked a little bit about the ITS packs and Operation Flame Strike. I do love this one slide here showing that Infinity, that Corvus Belli continues to grow.
So the one thing that I noticed was with this, and for a lot of years, they were like, last year's like, oh, we grew 20%, we grew another 20%. This doesn't look like another 20% gain, or it might be just 20%. Might be more like 10 or 15, but for a while it was almost looking like exponential. But it looks like it's going to start evening out just a little bit.
Well, and I mean, this growth is pretty good considering they moved into a new building. Just
Yeah,
so seeing, making sure that their capacity to continue to produce the releases is great.
and yeah, thanks for Tim Toolin for going ahead and putting all this up and taking all these pictures.
And then, like Casey was saying, the some artwork for the RPG circular. That is cool.
It's been fun, like watching from the Kickstarter. This scene course, like, oh, we're doing all this awesome stuff, and then kind of reading between the lines with Modiphius, as Modiphius has been going crazy trying to get Corvus Belli to move on this stuff. They're like, yeah, we have like these like 20 things in there. We're actually hiring people to work with Corvus Belli to approve stuff. And yeah, so just some really cool looking art.
Yeah. I hope they do another art book soon.
Oh yes, they could definitely do another art book.
But yeah, just some cool stuff. I really look forward to seeing all this later on. And then, of course, the On Hell's Masterclass 2 book, which pretty much every comment I saw for photos of him over the weekend, every one of Heraldus' fans have been asking when book 2 is coming out.
So, will you get book 2?
Would I?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I've been going back and forth on it. I really enjoyed book 1, but I feel like it was lacking in a lot of places.
And I think he's taking a lot of what people said and adding more into it.
I've heard that.
So like here we've got definitely like a highlighting and shading piece here in the Clippets, how he does his brush work, just different things on different techniques. So I think he really did say that techniques are going to be a big thing in this edition. So like for the Marguerite Bigard, how he did all the weathering on it. And then, yeah, we got some new stuff coming down from Warsaw.
Yeah, some more of their cool Morat themed terrain. Oh, I want that stuff so bad.
That looks cool, but I'm not sure how functional that would be on.
Yeah, that by itself, I'm not sure it'd be very functional.
The wall sections here almost look a little 40K.
Hard to draw a line of sight from outside of that wall inside.
Yeah. But I mean,
but it looks neat.
I mean, we've seen bug count corridors, so if they can add on different things to that, maybe be cool.
Yeah, like some watchtowers or something might be neat.
This building here, I think, is pretty awesome. I'm not sure who's producing it, but I do like how it's round. It's got rounded edges and it looks very pretty. Looks more like a centerpiece instead of the cubes we've been playing with.
Mm-hmm. My guess is that it's still Warsenal. It looks like their stuff.
Probably. I do like this door, this Jing door. So,
So a little bit for the Infinity manga that's coming out.
yeah, the comic book. So they do have some snippets here on, yeah, their manga comic book, which would be interesting. I expanding the universe, going past the fluff, be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's kind of the reasons why I got into the RPG was I really enjoy the fluff. I like seeing what's beyond the fluff there, and so this might be kind of fun. We'll see though.
I do like this photo where two hackers, or it looks like they're trying to fight,
Hack into a
hack
tag or
into a
something.
tag. One is obviously cool, the other one is very under duress.
Yes.
And then we got these little poster. I'm not. I would. The videos were a little bit odd on the sound, but I would love to have known more about what people had to say about all these these little mind ideas that Corvus Belly has. Um, like so, the show here is Red Veil expansion, an idea for a Red Veil expansion. At, if there was an expansion box, would you get it, yay or nay?
Mm, Probably nay. I'm gonna say. Um, I and I think the reason why they do this is they have a lot of questions. Like from when Ice Storm came out, everybody bought that box and said, "Okay, now where do I go?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so they said, "Well, okay," and they came up with all these guides of get this and this and this, and here's kind of a interesting list. Whether or not those lists were any good for ITS is another question. Uh, but it kind of gave you a lot of everything. And so my guess is that they're thinking about that.
Yeah, I agree. Because I mean, these two-player boxes are great for starting out, but there's such a huge wealth of miniatures in each line that you can go any way you want to go. And
Mm-hmm.
if you start copy pasting, then you're just going to see that on everything.
Yeah, and I've seen kind of what they were talking about with like where they suggested going through Red Veil, and I think it's fine, but I have some different ideas. So I'd rather make my army my way.
Yeah, and then I got some other ideas here, like Infinity Deathmatch, and we've seen fan made versions.
Mm-hmm. And I think the fans have done a great job with like Tag Deathmatch and
Yeah,
Hunger Games, and
and they got one called Dog Bowl.
yeah, and I'm not sure how that would really differ from like the Deathmatch, but okay.
And Artesia, the like the was it the underground fighting?
No, Arestesia is like a huge thing. It's like MMA, right? It's like UFC,
Yeah, yeah, but I
only
mean,
like 10 times.
yeah, but I mean, the art there is some like underground fights that just like boxing, where you got street fighters that could make it into big leagues and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's different leagues. Like the Nomad leagues are a little more brutal. They've been known to fight to the death, whereas Pano leagues, nobody actually really dies because there's so much money being put into the fighters and stuff. And but this is at first I was going to say no, that's dumb, but I've seen other games where it's been all about just like one on one, and there's just a
Yeah,
lot of like really crunchy dice rolls for where did you hit, did you parry, and so that there might be something interesting there.
I agree. Uh, Infinity Dungeon Crawler game, which I mean, they've got the RPG, so this
Yeah,
or would this be like a board game like GW has been doing?
I think of like Super Dungeon Explorer with Infinity, and so maybe like you create cards for them or something, like some really streamlined, simplified rules,
Be,
and with some tiles. But Yeah, maybe like a D&D fourth edition type sort of thing.
Could be interesting to see. This I would love. Like an O12 army pack. Just because O12 is just so hinted at in all the books. We know what it is for the most part, but you don't really see how they play in the game.
Yeah, and it's interesting because O12 gets a lot of mention, but it sounds like most of their interactions are of a non-military nature. And so, yeah, I don't know, like maybe make this as like another version of mercenaries or something. I I don't know, like another army. Ooh, yay, cool, I guess.
Operation whatever combined versus Aleph.
Okay, I don't really care like about another starter box. Like I think the starter boxes are great, right? Because everybody kind of has like a different itch that they want to scratch. I just love that art. I just think that's awesome.
Avatar punching Achilles.
And just he's like, ooh. I love that picture. I If they do Operation whatever, fine, but that picture is just so fun.
Yeah, they needed that on the box. And then this one here, I think, kind of set um, the internet on fire in the Infinity community. Uh, Corvus Belly fantasy style game.
you know, I think they're wondering how long, can Infinity expand the way it is, right?
Well, for they started at they Warcrow was their Infinity or their fantasy line before
Mm-hmm.
Infinity.
Yes, then in a lot of ways it would be going kind of back to the roots, but they never did their own game. They just provided miniatures for others, and
But
it's back when their miniatures were kind of skunky.
if they did similar rules to what they have now in the Infinity universe, I could see it being very cool. More close combat, less shooty.
Hmm. And I mean, I think that you could tie this into like their dungeon crawler, right? And that might be the way to do it.
Uh,
Do
yeah, or like kind of Frostgrave, where it's just squads and just goes in there and yeah. I, if they do it, it'll be very interesting. Um, I know some people who, if the miniatures are great, people will drop some money.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not a big fantasy person in general, so it would just kind of depend.
I would, if they did something like that, I don't know. They might have to expand their company again because that would be a. I'm not sure how they are now, but they might be a little stressed.
Yeah, but it makes good business sense, right? I mean, because really all they've got is Infinity, and if something were to happen, like they had a bad edition or whatever, like if the game flamed out at some point, they're kind of screwed. So having a second game up and going would be good for them.
True. And then we got Red Veil photos, all some shiny photos of Operation Red Veil, and then new Dire Foe box.
Yeah, and we've kind of seen this stuff, or like I don't think we've seen the dossiers like this, but we've
But
seen pretty much all of that.
yep, so here is the new Yujing Dire Foe guy with his mag traps, and then a cool pose. Very
It's okay. Like it's almost identical to the Krakow Renegade.
no, it's just like my Bashi Bazook without the wings.
Yeah, that's one of their preferred poses. So I just looked at it, I was like, yeah.
Then Leela Sharif, which I'll get regardless because it's Hawk Islam.
Well, we're already splitting Red Veil, right? So
Yep. So She's got a cool pose too.
Yeah, I actually really like her pose. You do notice that they've kind of tilted it a little bit, so she's not leaning out quite as far.
Yeah.
Um, but actually, like looking at the profiles, at first, I really like the Eugene one much better. But after like sitting down, and really looking at it, I think she's got the more interesting and playable profile. So I
And
like the
then
shock marksman rifle. And sorry, moving on.
yep. And then we got the HVT, which another cool miniature.
You got the Yon Yon, so she's mine. Colin dibs. The Black Friar. He's the one who's got like the
Yeah,
anti-impersonator
these are
visor.
the next month's releases.
And to a certain extent, I look at this guy and just go, meh. He looks like an orc trooper with a cloak on. Like I've seen a guy who just threw green stuff over the top of it, and that's kind of what this guy looks like.
But his rules, though, he's got the biometric thing that he can sniff out impersonators.
Oh yeah, great rule set. Just the miniature is kind of eh.
Yeah, there's his 3D pose. That's gonna be interesting to put together with the arms crossed like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that will.
But another cool paint job. We'll be seeing this guy soon, and then some Accusamento regulars.
Yeah, like I didn't think the old regulars were bad. Um, but sure. I mean, go ahead and refresh them. I think a Conocimento needs some love in general.
And we got the Sikhs.
Nothing new there. Mets Montesa, nothing new.
For a new starter pack, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it'll be kind of like what we're seeing with the Hawk Islam one, where it's pretty much the same stuff, just refreshed models. Orc Troop. Again, looks the same, new paint job. I think have we seen a Kamau before? I think that's new.
I think you might be right.
I think the Kamau is new.
Looks cool.
Yeah, he's kind of the equivalent of the Nisei. I want to
Mm-hmm.
say, just aquatic versus Arctic.
And then we got so these are the news. These are all stuff coming out new for next year. So we got Eugene stuff, the pheasants,
With a Red Fury.
the Ori pilot, which I think looks cool.
Is that like? Does she actually have a profile, or is that just like a?
I think she does have a profile, but it's an ejection profile.
Okay. The frustrating thing is you're gonna have to buy that separate from the actual Oriora, and
Well, I've got the Margariba guard pilot. That was bootleg. So then we have
yeah, just frustrating that you got to buy two separate things to make it work.
no, you don't need it. Uh, Usually, if it blows up, it blows up. They've got some. So there's the GenCan't Unknown Ranger, which that's the GenCan't version compared to what that's the regular release. What do you think? Do you like it better with the turtle back or the shield forward?
So I like the regular version so much more because it's just opening up the model. The first version, the Gen Con version, all you saw was a backpack and a big old honking shield.
Mm-hmm.
This one, yeah, the shield is covering up the back, but all it's really covering is the backpack. Whereas the front of the model, which is what people generally care more about, and, has the more interesting stuff going on, is a lot more open. And I think his pose is a little better. So
No photos on that one. Then we got Mavericks on the recon bikes.
Yeah, they're cool.
And then some Hakazam stuff.
Yeah, that's all right. We've seen him before.
Yeah, that's going to be in Operation Red Veil. So we might get the other version. So that'd be cool.
Okay. Are you like as ticked as I am watching all the workhorse like painting up the red veil and
No, yeah, don't get me started on Warcore. The system was so buggy, I could not get into it. We don't have a local Warcore, and yeah, everybody gets their stuff first. I'm like, are you serious? Like, yeah, don't get me started on that. The new Jean Bazans, I'm not sure.
like I think they're more fitting for their profile, right? Because in the other one it was just like a dude in some fatigues and a cap. And don't get me wrong, like he looked cool. Like I love the old John Bazan model. Um, but it, honestly, like it didn't really fit his. The model didn't fit the profile.
Yeah,
These do, but I don't think I like the models as much.
yeah, but it's odd because like normally when for Hakazan players, there's only two of people you run: the sniper and the HMG. Because this is usually your only MSV2 option in the whole army. So the shock rifle, the Doctor Plus, hacker, I don't usually take those options. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm not sure if I'll pick up this pack or not.
Yeah, it feels like this is one of those packs where nobody was really crying out for it.
If
But
if they come out with a blister for a sniper, but in the repose, I'll pick that up.
I just like the old model so much that
The current these new sculpts remind me of like um, Wolfenstein Germans.
yeah, they're just kind of chunky,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like Hakazan has been just been getting chunkier in general.
So we'll see. And then some new stuff coming out. The new Corridor Bandit, the female pose for this will be this month's release. And she's got the cool hair braid that goes all around her body.
Yeah, I again, this is one of those poses where I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on here, but I mean, it's better than most poses. Like, it doesn't look weird. I just can't figure out what she's doing.
As a hacker, she's got the most interesting pose as a hacker compared to everybody else. She has the hacker hands, but she compared to like the Jean Bazan, most hackers are kind of like that with the visor on, and
Kind of a handout stretch.
yeah, this one she's just like, hey, I'm doing my thing. And then new moderators.
Yeah, I dig them.
Yeah,
Definitely needed them. I didn't think we needed new Morias. Okay, the Riot Girls tick me off. Like, if there's an egregious model, like the nipples and the vagina plate, um, I'm sorry. Like that model, you know what? You're free to like it if you want, and you can call me an old prude, but like this just sends the wrong message. I feel like Corvus Belly should be ashamed.
I didn't even notice this when I was going through this earlier. It was this one here uh, that caught my attention. The
Well, now that,
Colossus, the
yeah,
Colossus
now
looking guy.
now that Fox has like royally screwed up the X-Men franchise, I'm glad to see that Colossus has found work in another venue. So
So I think this new starter pack for Bakunin that'll be interesting to see come out. This right here, the Taskmaster.
hell
Oh,
yes, that just looks cool. I love it.
and it's got a good enough pose too.
It's dynamic, like really dynamic. Uh, I'm just trying to think. Like, it looks like we're only seeing a single model there. Like, it'd be nice if this was like a dual box, like geckos or something. And hopefully, we'll get that. Because I think the big thing is you can do Fireteam Duo with these guys.
Oh, and then some of the left stuff. There's the grid attack bots.
Yeah, I was hoping they had learned their lesson from the Dakini Tac bot and the pain it was. And I saw this, I was like, oh well, maybe they've got like some cool ways to do this. They're gonna like improve upon it because this drawing looks really neat.
Yeah, very Gundam-esque.
Yeah,
And then we get this.
and no, thank you.
That the pose is very awkward. The stancing is awkward. They got this big hero stump.
Yeah, it's like I can't tell what he's jumping off of there.
He's not jumping. I think he's mid-flight, leaping over it.
Okay. Yeah, just like you have like these big crazy winglets there. And I know they've gotten better. Like, because like the Fracta has similar type things. But then you have like this big old gun at the end of a tiny arm. You got like these spindly little legs flying out everywhere. Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah,
No thank you. I do not want to even put that together.
and just like thinking from like an army standpoint, if you have all your bases done in a certain theme, that's really going to throw it all off.
Mm-hmm. And then, gosh, just imagine trying to put this guy up against a building.
Yeah, or putting it in a case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good luck with that.
But then we have some post-humans.
Yeah. Again, we're seeing kind of like the evolution. This looks, the armor is similar to what we saw like with Achilles and Hector. So you'll probably see some similar type stats for that.
And then Mark V. This guy,
Yeah, like
it's pretty cool.
yeah, like he's got the Mark 12, a couple of SMGs. This one will be interesting. The other one's like, okay, so we've got like, because they already had the Mark 3, I think, was a heavy infantry. So now we've got like a super heavy infantry. And then I don't know what this guy's doing. Because we've already got a sniper and an infiltrator. I guess this guy will just be like a skirmisher or something.
Oh, maybe he'll be with 2 SMGs, maybe he'll be a specialist.
I'm hoping so. Because I'm not sure the post-humans have any. No, they do. They have some hackers. So.
And then some overdrawn bat droids.
Yeah.
When you absolutely need to kill something, you bring the HMC or the plasma sniper rifle.
Yeah, and he's got the cool little Timbot.
Yeah, and
I love that guy's Timbot. I just think it looks cool.
it's like
some
it's gonna run
demon
up,
Twi'lek.
yeah, it's gonna run up and like rip your face off. And a pretty cool pose.
Yeah, again, it's dynamic without being crazy.
I would magnetize those guns though.
Mm-hmm.
And the little tin bots. And then Toha.
I got all excited when I saw like, oh my gosh, they're doing an army box. Until I saw the next slide. Oh, never mind. It's just all the same stuff before. We'll just put it in a box for you.
Yeah. So yeah, if you ever wanted to start Toha, wait a few months and you'll get the nice box.
Yeah, one-click bundle.
The Sukiel Commandos. Interesting artwork.
Yeah, that would be kind of an interesting pose. That's a nice profile.
Yeah, a lot of nice guns.
So yeah, I'm not sure about this one. So
And then Miranda Ashcroft gets a new pose.
well, the original Miranda Ashcroft was like an ITS Winners Pack model, and she's just never had a regular release now. So
Yeah, or she's not been on a bike.
hmm.
And then the Gen this is the next release, but this is also available during Gen Con. The new
Yep,
Masashi.
we've talked about him before.
And then the Kakarot. Chester Mines.
Yeah, he's a profile I want to play around with. I'm kind of excited for that. Again, we can see the same. It's basically just an arm swap from what it was. Um,
Yeah, I mean, that's. Are we through? Yeah.
yeah, there we go. So, I mean, I think there was some stuff got out of order here and there, but otherwise, we've kind of hit everything.
I mean, we could touch on this because I know you're going to be trying to do something like this at LVO.
Yeah, so like years ago, I was talking to Carlos. I was like, man, what are you thinking? He's like, I think it'd be so cool to do like a remote racing game, because we have all these remotes. It's like at that point in the game, he's like, not a lot of people use them. It's like, but it'd be cool if we had like other styles of game that we could still use the miniatures for. I was like, oh yeah, and he kept bringing that up. And he kept kicking, and so I've been kicking the idea around on how to actually make this work. And so we've talked about trying to do this for LVL. So do we want to talk about that?
Sure.
So well, I won't even call this a draft, guys. Like this is the brainstorming session of this. So this is very rough. So bear with me. I have it's all still like handwritten notes on paper right now.
Well, give us like an overview first.
So the idea is to basically create like a Mario Kart type experience on the tabletop. So you'll have cars or remotes moving around the track. AROs still apply. You'll basically be using a generic profile, right? So nobody can say, well, this remote is better than that. So everybody, bring your own model, but you're using one standard profile. And just like Mario Kart, you're going to have different obstacles you got to try and get over or get around. You're going to have like little speed boost plates, and you're also going to have boxes that you can pick up, for little bonuses, because all your remotes are going to start off by default unarmed.
Okay.
And so, obviously, like by hitting barriers and stuff like that, you can do damage to those remotes, or you can pick up like one-time uses of weapons. Like,
will there be a blue shell?
Yes,
Yes.
there will be a blue shell, and it will literally just be called blue shell. Everything else will be pretty familiar. So you might have like a one-time use HMG or a one-time use Mark 12, a one-time use flamethrower. I think might be fun. A mine you could drop. I've gone back and forth on the idea of doing like a crazy koala and a mad trap, because I think that would work well, but I think that might be a little too powerful. And also with the mad trap, if you glue a remote down, there's nobody there to actually like unglue him. So, so just kind of some ideas right now is, so at the very beginning, like your very first move when you're started on the line, roll a d20 on a 17 through 20. You get a boost to your movement. So instead of maybe being like a 6-4, you turn into an 8-6 for that one turn as you've nailed your speed boost. I go back and forth on painted models. My take is you bring painted models, and so I like the idea of if you have an unpainted model, the crowd is so unhappy with your ugly remote that you've brought to this race that they're throwing stuff at it. And so at the start of every turn, you take a strength 12 hit that you have to make a save against. I like that. I don't know. Like other people seem to enjoy playing with unpainted models.
Oh, for a fun friendly thing, maybe not throw people under the bus.
Okay, maybe not that one. Um, so then the idea of having like barriers, you could just have like a jersey barrier, right? And you have a choice. You can either move around it, which will take longer, or you can try and jump it. And in order to jump it, you have to pass a physique check. As we all know, remotes don't have amazing physique. So, if you pass it, you basically get to ignore the barrier, right? You just go straight over the top of it. If you fail it, you move up to the barrier and then you stop, and that ends that movement. So if you're doing like a 6-4 and it's only 3 inches, you get 3 inches, right? You can still spend your other 4 inches to keep moving around it, but it stops you and you lose a structure point.
That
And you're like,
that'll be funny.
oh yeah, whoa, look at me, I'm going, jump, bam, you just face plant right into the barrier. While everybody else goes zooming around you.
Are you
I'm
gonna have
still,
respawns?
yeah, that was actually what I was going to talk about next and I'm still trying to figure out how to do that respawn. Right now, what I'm going with is the idea of a checkpoint system. So if you die, you go back to your last checkpoint, but make it that you actually have to do a whip check. So you can blow through a checkpoint if you're feeling healthy and you're happy with where you're at, or you can do like a move whip check to actually activate it and move yourself up to that checkpoint. Scattering boost pads around that give you an extra 4 inches of movement. Because I like the idea of somebody shoots at you and then you dodge, you successfully dodge and then hit the boost point, and that 2-inch dodge turns into a 6-inch dodge. And that's kind of what it is right now. And then just I've been trying to come up with what kind of goodies to have in the box. So I'd like to have maybe 10
Like a
ish.
booty table?
Exactly. And have little boxes scattered around the board, at certain intervals.
Well,
So
you'll want probably like a repair, or a buff, a shield. So the shield could be like an extra structure point.
that's a good one. Because right now I've got an HMG, and this is in no particular order. HMG, a Mark 12 because Mark 12s are fun, a flamethrower, a mine. Said maybe a mad trap. I'm
Missile.
not sure. Okay, yeah, sure.
Well, because you can have a guided missile or a regular missile. So red shell, green shell.
So I'm gonna skip the guided missile because we got the blue shell. Because that guided
Oh,
missile, you've also got to you've got to target them, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. Um, a boost to your move, like you picked up a mushroom, one structure, and that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 more. Yeah, maybe like a shield. So
a banana. Or I guess that'd be the mines.
yeah, we could do something else. I don't know. Like I said, I've just been writing stuff down the last day or so. So if you guys have any great ideas, go ahead and send us an email or leave a comment
And what is the email address?
at theatomicsalt@gmail.com.
So yeah, I look forward to testing that out.
Yeah, I think what we should do is I've got a couple of remotes, you've got a couple of remotes. We'll have Austin come over and we'll just kind of run like 6 remotes, and kind of see how it all plays out. Oh, and then the other idea is we'll run it so you have a rotating turn order. Who's ever in the lead goes first, and then
Like
who's
an
ever second
initiative
goes next.
roll.
No, you're not going to do an initiative roll. You'll do an initiative roll at the very beginning, right, to determine placement on the course or at the starting gate. But then what you'll find is after that, I like the idea of what is it? In Formula D, which is a car racing board game. It's whoever is in the lead goes first. So it's possible whoever goes first can rotate around from round to round. So, and that way it also helps keep things from getting all blocked up. So who's ever in the lead will go first. Whoever is in second goes second. Third goes third. So on and so forth until you get to the very last person. They move, and then it starts all over again.
It sounds like it's going to be hilarious. Are you going to do your own board, or are you going to do a map, or how are you going to do the setup?
Working on that. So, while we're figuring all this out, I'll probably just take a big piece of paper or cardboard and sketch out a little bit of a track for it. But eventually, what I'd like to do is get something printed up. Maybe go with like a vinyl shop and do like a 4x4 racetrack. So we'll see. That's still kind of up in the air.
Heck, you can even using foam. You can make 2x2 tiles, and then make your own whole section.
We could also look at using like a fat mat or something.
True.
See if there's one that would work for that. And then just kind of like lay stuff down on top of it. So, like I said, that's kind of up in the air right now. So we'll see.
I see future terrain project in the works. Oh.
No, I do not have time to do all of that.
But if we do, guys, you'll see it on the show and on the Facebook page.
Yep.
So cool. Anything else?
No, that's it from me. What about you?
That's it for me. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff at GenCan't that I really wanted to see and buy. Maybe I'm glad I wasn't there.
We just would have spent a lot of money, and we would have been sad.
But next year, we'll spend a lot of money next year.
Next year.
All right, folks, that's it for us. If you liked anything you saw tonight, or anything you want to talk about, let's start a conversation in the comments below. Like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to see more. We're always here. Casey, anything else?
No, just as always, if there's something you'd like us to talk about or something you'd like to point us towards, just shoot us an email at theatomicsalt@gmail.com. This has been The Atomic Salt, and GenCan't has blown our minds.
Good night, folks. See you next week.